What is up, guys, gals, and non-binary pals? My name's Naomi. Welcome to House of Miscellania. Today I am coming at you with a whippin' chat. WIP stands for work in progress. For those of you joining me for the first time, welcome. For those of you coming back to see me, welcome on back. If you're not familiar with the whip and chat, I'm going to chat with you for about an hour. I'm going to talk about, well, the last week. I'm going to chat about my life, things of those sorts. And then at the end, I always read for you. It's like the second half. I read for you a tarot card from the Fairies Oracle. Not a sponsor, but I love this deck. And I read one of those for you, and I kind of give us a thought for the week, and hopefully it all works out, right? Well, let me just get right into my tools really quickly while I'm sitting here. It is Mary Morales, right? So, of course, the kit that I am working on is a Margaret Morales. Sorry, just grabbing a couple other things here. And this one is, let's turn to her. Oh, you guys, she's beautiful. She's so beautiful. You're only seeing like a little bitty bit of her right now, but this one is Mizuchira by Margaret Morales. Ooh, she's so pretty. And it is for Mary Morales 2024 going on right now. Details down in the description. That's not what the whip and chat is about. I've got my tools here in front of me, all from sponsors. I've got lots of them here, and let's start with this here tray that I am using. This one is from Muni Made, one of our sponsors. This is just one of the little Muni Made trays. Love the color. Oof, I love that color. And it's sort of like a purplish blue, but I think it matches very nicely with all the blue colors. And the trinket tray I've got underneath here, which I'll get to. I'm using two different pens. This one here is from Kevin's DP Pens. Kevin's DP Pens always does a lovely job on wood. Right now they have 4 event blanks. Last I checked, there were still 4 available over on their Etsy shop. You can check them out. They were inspired by Mizuchira. They're a beautiful turquoise color with these swirls in them, just gorgeous. But Kevin's DP Pens, I'm using a thin metal multi-placer and a single placer, but inside I have putty from Putty Crocker. This one is eggnog scented. So tasty. I love eggnog just generally, but Putty Crocker. We've got another pen here. This one is from Flawa Designs, and I'm using this one specifically for my ABs, and it is loaded on both sides here with Ghost from Diamond Painting Daily. Oh, we love the Ghost. And Diamond Painting Daily, that's the symbol you're looking for over on Etsy. This is like a glue dot that it starts out a liquid, it turns into a solid, it goes from white to clear, hence why it's called Ghost, and it is fantastic for ABs. And then look at this tray. This trinket tray just arrived from Craftspirations. You can get one of these beautiful trinket trays over at Craftspirations. Again, links are all in the description if you want to check it out, but isn't it cute? I designed this here in the bottom. I actually designed the whole tray, picked all the colors and things like that, and I really think it's lovely. Nicely done for Craftspirations. And then my beautiful release papers. I've got 2 different types on here. I've got one type is from right here. This one is from Lowena's Designs. These are event papers. There's a few different varieties. I designed these as well. There is Tatsu, there's Kaiju, there is Yuki, and little Mizu. Oh, so cute. And then on the trinket tray that I showed you, this one is Chisai. So cute. They're sort of like a little set, you know, but this is the release papers from Lowena's. And then just beyond that, you might see a little peeky right there, are some papers from Bee's Crafty Corners. Again, you can check out all of these links down in the description if you just click on the Mary Morales sponsors list. So, blam, got all of that. Let me load everything back up in my trinket tray here so I can get to diamond painting and chatting with you. Guys, it has been a whole week. Yes, it has been a whole week, but it has been a week of lots of things to do. Now, I have had a lot going on. I want to thank, first of all, the people that checked in on me after my last WIP and chat. They were like, oh my God, that was very unlike you. Like, are you okay? What's going on? You know, I thought about, like, honestly, just scrapping the whole thing and saying, like, listen, no WIP and chat this week, just because it was really all over the map, and it isn't like me. I'm usually very well organized. I've got my things together, and I was trying to explain in that WIP and chat, and maybe not very well, that I was really just kind of like overstimulated. There was a lot happening, and it was a lot to be like trying to do all in like the same time, you know, like Mary Morales and life, and just all of it was starting to kind of pile up. And then to top it off, I have a kind of a large bill at my therapist, and so I haven't really been going to the therapist, but we were already kind of hitting like we're kind of hitting a plateau in my therapy, wherein, you know, like, I have good coping skills. I've been kind of working on a lot of different things, and I wanted to try and do some weeks without therapy anyways, so it was all sort of coinciding. I still intend to pay my bill. It's just I got a lot of other things that I pay for, right? So I'm going to pay them back in installments, and I'll get back to the therapist when I feel like I'm really having a hard time and need a therapist, like need. So, you know, that frees up my therapist time for some people who maybe have more need than I do, I guess. If that makes any kind of sense. But I did want to say thank you to those people who checked in, just to make sure that, like, you know, even though that wasn't a normal, you know, sort of a normal sort of WIP and chat, to hear that I was doing okay. And I am doing okay. I promise. I know that was messy and whatever, but I left it in because I really kind of wanted to show people that, like, yeah, I probably seem most of the time like I have my shit together, right? But I struggle too. And sometimes, especially where it concerns having autism, you cannot always help how things are going to go, and what a day is going to look like, and how you're going to be. And, you know, like, sure, it could be as simple as saying, like, you need to get more sleep, or you need to relax, or you need to meditate, or you need to whatever. It isn't that simple, unfortunately. It's like telling a dog not to, you know, stick their tongue out when they're breathing. It's something that is so natural because it is a part of my actual chemical makeup, that to just go, yeah, well, just meditate more, or take more time for yourself, or it's not a simple fix like that. And so when it's bad, sometimes it's just bad, and then sometimes when it's bad, it's really bad. And I wanted to kind of like display that struggle, that vulnerability, that I feel like my channel's kind of been like, that you've come to know me for, that vulnerability, that ability to kind of lay myself out for people to see and judge. And, you know, you might like it, you might not like it, you might like go, all right, this chick's nuts, but it is what it is. I mean, I can't like I said, I can't always help it, but I wanted at least to show you that not how bad it can get, but I mean, kind of how bad it can get. And that was a good example of how bad it can get, or how bad it does get, whatever, you know what I mean. So thank you again to those who checked in, and I appreciate it. I'm fine. I promise I'm okay. I just wasn't getting very good sleep. I wasn't getting a lot of good, like, mind rest. And then while the event itself is not like, it's not taking over my life, it's not killing me, it's not whatever, it's just I was very just overstimulated with a lot of things happening. That being said, I did some things that, well, one, last night I slept like normal hours. It was very weird, but I slept a lot of them, and so that was nice. But it was because I kind of exhausted myself. I know that my oldest, my daughter, is going to be coming home from college for winter break, and I've been kind of using her room as a storage area for my completed diamond paintings, some other, stuff. And I know, like, okay, bam, I've got to get up there and get the stuff out of her room so that when she comes back, she has somewhere to move into and somewhere to put her own stuff. Because ultimately, like, yes, it's our house. Yes, I could say, well, you're gone, so this is my space. I'm going to do what I want with it. I don't feel that way. We've told the kids that, as long as the housing market is a pile of hot, steaming garbage, that they are welcome to, they will always have a place here, that they will never be without a home. And so, I don't want her to feel like, well, I'm just waiting for the day for you to get out of here so I can have a craft room. Because yes, I'd like to have a craft room, but it's not the highest priority on my list. My kids matter more to me than having a space for crafts, Well, anyways, so I needed to get a bunch of things done. I needed to get the closet that is behind me, like right back here, emptied out, because we have had these freaking board games just piled in there. Old ones, newer ones, like your classic ones. There's puzzles and whatever in there. And I thought, okay, gotta get this cleaned out. I'm gonna put all my diamond paintings in it, and it'll be a good storage space for that. Get my stuff off of her bed, whatever. And so I got to work on that. It was like basically my weekend, and part of Monday was consumed with just getting that taken care of, getting it cleaned out, whatever. And then running the board games that we didn't want to keep over to the Goodwill. I needed to find a shelf because I've got some things that needed to be stored somewhere, but I didn't have a place. They were sort of piling on my table where I do my unboxings. And, there's incoming stuff for sponsor stuff, prizes and whatever. And that was getting a little bit unsightly just to have a bunch of opened boxes or whatever. And so I got the closet cleaned out. I found a shelf actually at the Goodwill. So I dropped some stuff off and I picked something up. Got myself a really nice little metal shelf, and it was like $5, which was a nice little treat. And then I got all of my diamond paintings from like these piles behind me to a nice, stacks in my closet. Both the ones that are, excuse me, the ones that are opened, the ones that are not opened, round, squares, long ones, short ones, I organized them. And while I did that, you guys, I also decided to re-inventory my stash. I really need to get onto, what's it called? The app that people use for diamond painting. I have it on my phone. I have it, but I've never actually uploaded anything to it. Oh, somebody said it. Wendy said it tonight, and I can't think of the dang name. Well, either way, I want to put things on there at some point, just so I have, inventory on my phone. I could, use that and pick a next diamond painting or whatever. But regardless, I re-inventoried. I put it onto like a Google sheet. You know what I mean? Like a document on Google, which is like an Excel spreadsheet, but not Excel. Either way. And then I did a count because I was very curious to see what that number was going to end up as. Now, when I did my stash count and like my stash video back in March, I think that was March, I released my stash video. I think the count then was 85. Okay. Now, mind you, it has been, going on, 9 months or something like that since I made that stash video. I've made purchases, like people have seen purchases that I've made or kits that I've received, things like that. And so I was actually kind of like nervous to see the number that my stash had gotten up to. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be embarrassed. I'm going to be like, ugh, I need to go on a no buy forever, because like I can only imagine that if I was at 85 before, like the number must be horrific now. And now okay. So, what's the word? It's like a disclaimer. Okay. Disclaimer. I'm not bragging. My stash is something that has been, curated over several months, years, what have you. I do not say the stash size to make anyone feel like crap because their stash is so small. I don't give the number because I'm trying to embarrass anybody, and I'm not trying to brag or anything like that. So that being said, I want to be completely transparent with the number of kits that I have and to discuss that number in a realistic way and to talk about that, because I was worried that I bought a lot of kits for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Granted, I saved up because my birthday is in December on the 2nd. I just celebrated my birthday. I had saved, I saved for these. And then with points and everything else, I got a lot of kits, but I didn't spend thousands of dollars or anything like that. In fact, it was much less than 500, right? But it was what I had saved to spend. That disclaimer all out of there. I was worried that I had been irresponsible and okay, God, now I'm at some number that I will never be able to finish all of these kits before I'm dead. I had reached Sable, right? Stash acquired beyond life expectancy. I'd worried I'd reached Sable and that I was just being completely irresponsible and stupid. Well, I was, I felt, I don't think I felt like that because I felt like that, but I worried that other people might have felt like that because I shared that I got for Cyber Monday and for my birthday, Black Friday, and Cyber Monday, because my birthday was Cyber Monday, I had gotten 15 kits. And when I shared that number with people, they started to kind of make me feel a little bit like, I don't know, self-conscious about it a little bit, I guess. And that's on me. That's not on them. That's 100% on me. And I am the only person who is in control of the way that something makes me feel. So I was feeling some type of way, and when I started to go through my stash and figure out exactly like what the number was, I felt better, because I did not get anywhere near to where I thought I had gotten. So it was kind of like a relief, and at the same time I was like, okay, that's practical. All right. So I went through and I figured out what my current stash count is. I'm opening the document right now. So I did not count my WIPs, mind you, and I am still waiting for 5 kits to arrive from my Black Friday, Cyber Monday purchases. That being said, my number without my WIPs included, and then, well, let me count the 1, 2, 3 unfinished paint gems that I have. 2 of those are unopened, so we'll go, because one of them's technically a WIP, but we'll go all 3 of those as their own separate canvases, okay? So then, with the 5 that I have not received, I am at 105 for my total stash count. Opened, like out of box, in box, sealed, whatever, it's 105. That does not include my WIPs. Now, WIPs, they're kind of amalgamous. They're in your stash, but they're not really in your stash because they're in progress, you know, like whatever. They're sort of like in that gray area, right? So if I counted my WIPs, the number would be a little bit higher, but I'm not going to count the WIPs as part of the stash for the purposes of, they're not technically stashed. They're technically in progress, right? I mean, yes, they're still part of my overall inventory, but they're not technically, yeah, you get it. Well, so with that in mind, 105 from where I was in March is not actually that crazy. I had thought, like, as many as I was buying, like, oh my God, 85 to, you know, whatever. I actually had estimated before I like did my re-inventory, I estimated 130. That's where I thought that I was at. Now, that being said, I am neither, like, I'm not proud of the fact that it's less, or I'm not proud of the fact that, you know, it would have been more, whatever. Like, it is what it is. But I really thought, like, oh my God, it's going to be 130. And then I decided to do a year in review video. While I was cleaning the closet, while I was getting things out of the way, while I was organizing and whatever, I'm like, you know what? I want to do a year in review. So that video will be coming out. I thought about sharing the number of kits that I've finished for the year in this WIP and chat prior to my year in review, but that would make it no fun to watch it. Like, then you'd already know the answer. That'd be kind of a bummer, you know, whatever. But what I will say is that my not having 130 kits makes a lot more sense now when I stack that against the fact that I thought I had purchased more and I thought the number would be higher. So I'm not saying I finished 1,000 kits, but I'm not saying I didn't finish 1,000 kits. You know what I mean? Not 1,000, but a lot. I will suffice it to say in this WIP and chat that I finished a lot of kits for this year. And some of those kits, I have to say also, like, one of my biggest kits would account for probably 3 of someone's normal sized kits. So there is that. I am very, very proud of the number of finishes I have, and I can't wait until I get that video edited and posted. I just have to film my works in progress for it, and then I will be able to share with everybody like the year in review, and then my works in progress current that I'm bringing into 2025, including the this Morales, which I believe is going to end up being a finish before the end of the year. Almost positive. It would really blow my mind if I didn't get this one done before January. So as for plans for what to do when, because not when if, it's when I finish this kit, like what are my game plans, right? Because I could sit on this and go, all right, I feel good about it. I got my Morales done, and now I can start something different for the new year, whatever. I'm not going to do that. I think I'm going to work another Morales, and I believe, oh my God, I love this. This fairy dust color, you guys, is scrumptious. It's scrummy. Yes. So I think I've never even seen this one on a kit before. It's beautiful. Sorry. Sidetracked. Shiny things. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to work another Morales in January, like end my year with a Morales, start my year with a different Morales. Sounds amazing to me, even though I really didn't want to, like, you know, slam through all of my Morales kits. I think it calls for celebration because it's Mary Morales, because I'm celebrating a lot of things. I'm celebrating a new year. I'm celebrating my birthday. I'm celebrating this event. I'm celebrating my subscribers. I'm celebrating everything, right? I'm celebrating. And so why not celebrate properly, right? And do it upright and do another Morales for January. And so I have a couple of kits in mind. I think I've been doing a lot of blue kits, right? So there was this one, there was Frost that I worked on from Art and Soul. There was Divide of Attraction that I worked, missed some. There was Divide of Attraction that I worked on from Captured by Radiance. And so I really want to not do anything with blue in it, or at least not lots of blue in it. I was thinking about doing Alice from, not Alice, the Down the Rabbit Hole from Margaret Morales, the one that just released. I thought about doing the Mystery. So Alice is a lot of blue. That one I think is out. I thought about doing the Mystery because it's a completely different color palette, but I won't be able to show any of that on my channel. Like, I won't be able to show my progress. I won't be able to use it for lives or WIP chat. So I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to stifle myself for what I can show. So I'm like, no, we're not going to do that. And then I'm like, okay, so if I can't do the, if I don't want to do the Down the Rabbit Hole because of all the blue, and I don't want to do the Mystery because I want to have content, like, what else can I do? I thought, okay, maybe, what about Onahime is a completely different color palette. Chroma is another, but I was saving Chroma for something else. There's Hades and Persephone is a completely different color palette. And I think I'm going to go with either Hades and Persephone or Onahime. I think those are the two that are at the top of my list right now. I think that sounds good. Sorry, my chair is making like creaky noises, which are also kind of farty noises, if you ask me. I believe that's the way I feel about it. But I don't know. I mean, and normally I would put this to a vote of the people, and I would say, well, what do you guys think? You know, should I do this or this? And you know what? Honestly, if you want to leave a comment down below and tell me, like, do you feel like Hades and Persephone would be better, or Onahime, or is there something else you thinking? There's a lot of blue in Margaret Morales's kits, so you tell me what you think, and I will at least give it a thought, right? But that being said, okay, so we've hit about the halfway point, and that is where I typically will read my tarot card, right? But right now, when I'm looking at now these, oh, that was the other one I forgot to mention. I got some upgrades for my kit for Mary Morales from DP with Sparklers. That was the other sponsor that I did not mention that I am actually using. Ooh, I get to use some of my pearls for squares. That's exciting. 5 of them. Ooh, very excitement. I have this whole little corner here, but I'm avoiding doing that yet. Not for any particular reason. It's just, oh, I had 2 stuck together. So yeah, if you think that, you know, you want to see one or the other, there's a lot of people working on Onahime right now in the Mary Morales. So I imagine I'll get a lot of Onahimes, but let me know. I'm thinking Hades and Persephone. Like, I'm kind of leaning toward Hades and Persephone, but Onahime would be great too. So anyways, all right. Let me at least cover this up a little bit before I go and put down a book or paper or whatever over top. I mean, the book's probably fine, but just want to put these down. I've got some crystals. I've got pearls for squares. I pretty much went with Tima's recommendations on this kit for upgrades, but there are some that I did decide to do on my own, like the pixie dusts that you see in here. Those are all things I picked there, and these ones here, like purplish blue over in here. I decided to go with those. That's what I picked, but all right, let me get my stuff out of the way here, and then we can read a tarot card and give us a thought for the week. I've already shuffled the cards. Let's see what this top one is. We got the Singer of the Chalice. Singer of the Chalice, number 12. Ooh, 12 is my lucky number. One of them. Singer of the Chalice. All right, let's see. The Singer of the Chalice. Keywords are trust, joy, patience, creativity, hope, and miracles. I'm looking for the right side up. All right, it's a short one. With the help of the Singer of the Chalice and of the fairies, you too can get this. You too can get this one feeling that is all the good feelings in one: unconditional love, trust, hope, healing, patience, and so on. Open is open. Be open. If you don't know how, ask. It is right there. You know, I feel like I understand, but I also don't understand. So let me draw the next card and let's get a little bit more information, okay? I do this sometimes if I don't quite understand a card. Honesty. Oh, I love his face. It's very just honest. It looks honest. honesty. Okay, let's see what more information that gives us, because maybe you need a little clarity too. Honesty. Here we are. Honesty, compassion, tact, and self-deceit. Honesty in a reading speaks, unsurprisingly, of the need for straight dealing and truth in representation. We need to be scrupulously honest here, making certain that there's no room for confusion or misunderstanding, no fuzzy edges. Both written and verbal agreements need to be completely clear. Assumptions may not be as well understood by all parties as we are assuming they need to be tested for comprehension. On a personal level, honesty reminds us not only to be clear in what we say and do, but also to act and speak with compassion and tact. Brutal honesty is not usually true honesty at all, but somehow slanted toward the worst. Dishonesty, even in the name of tact, is not helpful either. Balancing on that fine line of loving honesty may take some effort, but will provide rich rewards. Honest humility, idealism, and clarity of mind are some of the advantages of honesty. Okay, so being honest. You know, I have always struggled with the brutal honesty part. So, you know, going back to the Singer of the Chalice, it says, be open. Open is open. Unconditional love, trust, hope, healing, patience, and so on. It's right there. I've struggled for the longest time in my life. I've always struggled with that brutal honesty, because I always felt like, you know, if excuse me, if I hurt you first, or if I hurt me first, then what you say won't hurt, or what you say won't bother me, or won't faze me, won't hurt me, won't wound me, won't devastate me. I've always been like really witty and like probably overly funny, and maybe I'm not really funny. I just was trying to be funny as a defense mechanism, because it was that, or my brutal honesty became this sort of this wit that was really biting and sarcastic. And, you know, like, I always prided myself on being able to just cut somebody down with a word. And, you know, I was very closed off. I still, in a lot of ways, like, I use humor as deflection, and it's one of those character flaws that I'm working on. I deflect with humor a lot, and I forget at times to take a beat and really just allow myself to feel, or allow myself to be a little more raw, or open, I guess. And I had a moment this week, and not one of my proudest moments, but and I'll talk about the word but in just a moment. I had a moment where, you know, there was a lot going on. It was very chaotic in one of our voice chats, and like everybody was talking over each other, and I was getting very overwhelmed. And this was just after last week, when I just was really overstimulated in way too many ways. And I snapped on a person who's very kind, just gentle person. They had interrupted me. It had been, you know, a couple times in a row they had done that in a couple days. And I wasn't, I didn't snap. I scolded that person, and then I felt just overwhelmed, overstimulated over everything. And then I said, you know, all right, I'm going to answer this question and then I'm going to leave. I'm going to get out of here because I'm really overstimulated right now and getting really grumpy. And on the one hand, I was very blunt and just to the point and whatever, but I didn't hop right to where I would normally go, and that is into that like brutal honesty or that like tactless thing. It was as fine a point as I could put on it to say I'm overstimulated, I'm getting very grumpy, I need to excuse myself. And so on the one hand, like I was proud of that. I wasn't proud of the way that the person like ultimately ended up feeling, but at the time I wasn't worried so much about that. I was worried about like, you know, exiting with some bit of like my good name intact, I guess. I needed to absent myself without making an ass of myself, because I'm good at doing that. Like when I get angry and, you know, like proverbially flip tables and like put my whole foot in my mouth, I backed off. Just like during my live, I started to say something that, like, ultimately it was exactly true. It was exactly how I was feeling, but I was able to go, you know, no, you're not going to eat your foot today. You're not going to do that during an event. You're not going to sully or soil anybody's good fun or good feelings because you're feeling some type of way. And it was, both of those were moments where I was being open and vulnerable, but I wasn't being brutally honest. Now, there's an important fine point to put on the word but, okay? I have learned, well, my mother always told me that anything that precedes the word but is a lie. You can't say I love you, but. You can't say I'm sorry, but. You can't say that. You either you're sorry and, or I'm sorry, the end, period. I love you, period. There's no putting a fine point on that. Like you don't do it. And anything that you say before the word but, if you say but, you might as well be lying, right? And I had to learn that. I had to learn that, you know, you have to say what you mean and mean what you say. And if you're going to say but, it better be a pretty damn good reason for a but, or you need to do better at explaining what you mean so that you're not just outright dismissing a person with your word, because that word but is a dismiss. It is 100% a way of poo-pooing something. And so I'm getting better at that too. It's not something that 100% of the time I'm the best at, but it is something that if I really note it and pay attention to it, that 100% of the time I will get better at it because I'm paying it mind. And so I guess what I'm saying with all of that is, like, you don't need to be brutally honest with people. You don't need to say, can I be brutally honest? How about just be honest? Be open, and then imagine someone says the same words to you. Can I be brutally honest? You could just also just be honest. Honesty is good. We like honesty. And, you know, that whole idea that a white lie, if told for the right reasons, no. Don't do that either. It really doesn't serve you. Like, honestly, if I'm out with my friends or I'm, you know, like chilling with my heterosexual life mate and we're out and about and I'm like, you know, walking around with a booger on my face. It's not brutally honest to say, you got a booger on your face, bro. Like, you need to take care of that. Because I probably just need to take care of that. And I will thank you for not letting me walk around with a booger on my face. That's not brutal honesty. Brutal honesty would be like, you're disgusting. You have a booger all over your face and it's been there for the last 3 hours. Well, why didn't you tell me 3 hours ago? What's wrong with you? That's not brutal. That's not brutal honesty. So in all of that, I am really, really working at trying to remain vulnerable with you guys. And I feel like I'm accomplishing that goal. I feel like maybe some of you, many of you, all of you, I don't know, feel like you know me, like I'm a friend, or I'm someone that you know, even though you haven't met me necessarily, you might feel like you know me. And in a lot of ways you do. You know me. I'm pretty open and giving of myself. But and that word, you do know me. However, what you don't know is that I work so hard to be liked that when you say cruel or horrible or mean things about me, it hurts me just as much as it hurts you. And so when having conversations, and my name is included in it, try if you can to temper what you say with thoughts about how it would make you feel to hear those words about you. And I, in my turn, will do better to do the same as well. I know that no one in life is going to be everybody's cup of tea all the time. That's just not how it works. Some of us are just different, and our opinions are going to be different, and no matter what happens or what we say or what we do, it's just not always going to be for everybody, and that is totally okay. You're going to find your people. You're going to find the ones that you gel the best with, and that's going to be your little group, right? And more power to you. And I don't want anyone to be lonely. I don't. When you're in your little group, when you are talking to each other, just make sure that you have all the facts before you speak on someone's life or whatever. And if you don't know the facts, then ask questions. I am kind of an open book about a lot of things. And so when word gets back to me that, like, I'm a dirty addict, or I'm, not worth the time because I'm probably a huge disappointment to my family or whatever, like, trust and believe that as an addict, a recovering addict, there's nothing that a person can say about me that I have not said about myself much, much worse. Much worse. And so I thank you for your opinions, but I don't need them. I really don't. I am going to remain open. I'm going to remain an advocate. I'm going to remain hopefully a light for people in the community who struggle or have someone in their lives who struggle, because it's the message that it's the message I'm supposed to spread. It's the message I'm supposed to be giving. And anybody who doesn't like it, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not changing for anybody. Not that part. Not that part. And that's not trying to, bring in any drama or whatever. I just wanted it known that I'm doing my best just like everybody else is, and I will always show the same respect to anyone else that I am shown. And the same goes for every one of you. Be open, be vulnerable, be giving, and show your whole self, even the parts you're not always proud of, because people don't love us for our perfections. They love us for our humanity. And I want you to be human like me. I want you to be human because the rest of the world enjoys human beings. I don't want to be friends with a robot. I don't want to talk to a robot. I don't look up to robots. I've never really like been the type of person to follow the most popular one or the most pretty one or the most anything. The one that everyone else seems to look up to and follow and admire. I've never been good at following that person. I've always kind of followed my own path. And I welcome any person who wants to walk it with me to come along for the hike. We might have a good time. You just never do know. You never ever know. Because everything inside of me is just praying, proverbially, not actually, but praying that someone will come along with a good joke or a good laugh or a good story and stick around to learn some of my jokes and my laughs and my stories, and then maybe learn something along the way with me. I was told tonight by someone that I come off as like really knowledgeable, like somebody who knows a lot of things about a lot of things, and that was so flattering to me, because I do try very, very hard to give people accurate information, useful information, and something that at the very least you could take with you to share, and that you maybe didn't waste your entire time sitting and listening to. I did really appreciate that statement. And it's something that I'll carry with me for a good couple of days and like marinate on that, along with the statement that someone else made that, I should take a minute and just kind of really look at everything that I've accomplished and be proud of it. And I'm doing that too. And then the other person who told me, sleep more, meditate, take the time, ask for help, I'll do those things too. So long as you do me a favor and remember to be open and to be honest, not brutally, just honest. And, stick up for yourself in situations, but again, you don't have to be brutally honest. You can just be honest. Like, the best advice that I can give a person on being open and honest is to embrace vulnerability. It just fosters trust and deeper connection with other people. And honesty is not only about telling the truth, but also about being authentic and being transparent in your actions and in your words. And when you're honest, you create this environment where people can be themselves without this fear of judgment or dishonesty, which always leads to a stronger and more meaningful relationship. I think that the reason that people like to even talk to me at all is because I am trying to be open and honest and vulnerable, and I like to think it creates this feeling that I'm going to be truthful myself, that I'm gonna say what's true and what's real, and not just blow smoke, what have you. There's this beautiful quote by Maya Angelou, and she says, "There's no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside of you." And I love this quote because it reminds us that being open and honest it's not just a gift to other people, but it's like a relief to ourselves. It's holding back truths. It's like this internal conflict, and sharing it brings this freedom and this peace. And it's not an easy thing to do. It never has been. It's not, I don't think it's meant to be. Maybe it's just not designed that way. And not because lying feels good. It's because being, like, when you lay yourself barren in front of people and they judge it, or they make assumptions about it, that hurts. And the people, what is it Dr. Seuss says? Those who matter don't mind, and those who mind don't matter. Basically, that, again, you're going to find your people. You're going to find your people who sing that same weird song you sing in the same tune you sing it in, and they're going to get you. They're going to get you totally. And the rest of the people, they weren't going to get you anyways. They weren't going to like you anyways. They probably weren't going to stick around. And this is also why I don't stress about subscribers, or I don't stress about, who likes and who doesn't like my channel. This popular content creator that doesn't like my channel, or this popular content creator who, won't give me the time of day or whatever. I don't care, because if those people don't like me, they weren't going to like me anyway. So what's the point of becoming something so that they do? All for what? All for what purpose, And it's even more beautiful when, in those moments, someone who doesn't know you and didn't know you, they listen to you, finally listen to you, and they go, there's this like click that happens, like, oh my God, I never even knew that about this person. Either they'll get the click or they won't get the click, and you get to move on with your life. Be weird, be wonderful, and just be you. You're the only one of you there are, and damn it, I like you. Anyways, guys, I think that's about all I got for you this week, and I hope that you'll be kind to yourself, open and honest. And with that, as ever, I hope that wherever you are in this great, big, beautiful world, that you are having a safe, wonderful, and happy and healthy morning, evening, or afternoon, whatever time it is, wherever you are. All right, guys, I'm going to see you again soon. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.